Hi, Paul Silovsky here, physical therapist and owner of Rebound Physical Therapy. And today I'm here to talk to you about footwear tips and prevention of foot and ankle pain through good footwear mainly. So poorly fitting shoes or poorly built shoes can definitely cause or contribute to chronic foot and ankle pain. Now, we're asked all the time as physical therapists, hey, do you recommend a certain type of footwear? For sure, I would personally recommend if someone was treating a condition or have a chronic condition that I'd get them into a good running shoe as a basis, a good supportive athletic or running shoe. More on that in a moment. But really what we're looking at first is what type of foot someone has. Do you have a high arch or a rigid foot? In other words, does the arch stay too elevated and the foot just doesn't naturally go through normal motion, which I'll go through more in a second? Or does someone have a super flat foot, a caved in arch? They talk about pronated feet, right? I have a pronated foot, meaning the foot goes through some excessive motion. Actually, pronation is a normal motion of the foot, but if someone does it excessively, then they have what's called a flat foot. And then there's the mid-ground, right? Someone who has a normal arch can still have, foot and ankle pain from repetitive trauma or overuse or a poor fitting shoe and not fully supporting the arch during what we call the stance phase or the full weight bearing phase of the walking or gait cycle. So we're looking to maximally support the foot and ankle through the weight-bearing phases of the gait cycle to hold it in a more normal or neutral position. If you've got a high arch, we might need a little more support to meet the height of that arch. If you've got a flat foot, we may need to just enough support based upon your body weight and how much your foot flattens out during the gait cycle to support it so we don't anger the tissues. Now, so when you go into a shoe store, what do we need to basically understand or look for in working with a good shoe store attendant, someone who knows about foot types and the shoes that support different types of feet? So fundamentally, what we're looking at for some basics on a good supportive shoe is we'll start with the back of the shoe. We want a good firm, what's called a heel counter. This part of the shoe that wraps around the rear foot, because when the foot hits the ground, your foot is a little bit, should be striking a little bit on the outside of the heel. And then we actually pronate, the foot actually drops, the big toe side drops down so that we can push off the base of the shoes or base of the foot and then propel ourselves forward, and the foot will go outward again or outward and upward again. So the normal motion would be heel strike, pronation, and then, elevate the foot again or supination. And we want to support the arch throughout that. So we want a good stable heel. You don't want your shoes to break down. Like I'm going to use this. If you have a real floppy shoe, this shoe is not floppy right now. I'm just using the top part of it here. But if this was the whole part of the heel, like I can push on this and it's still firm and rigid. I still have good heel support here on this particular running shoe. So when the heel hits the ground, we want to get the big toe down so I can push off and elevate, but we also want good support in through this portion of the shoe, good shock absorption. And in my case, I've got orthotics in these shoes. We definitely use custom orthotics because if I had a floppy foot, let's say I had a pronated foot, which is more common than the rigid foot, at least that's what I see in the clinic, that you want enough support both in the shoe or in an orthotic to absorb my body weight and my foot flexibility. If I had a floppy foot, which I don't, I have a pretty normal foot, I would require more substance, more support. This does have a plastic type of insert that helps slow down the speed at which my foot pronates to catch it so that I can then push off a good lever, through the toes and propel myself and maintain good normal mechanics. So a shoe should help you control the heel, support the arch, and be nice and stable at push off. And then there's different types of shoes. You go into a good shoe store with someone who has a knowledge of flat feet or pronated feet versus supinated feet or rigid feet, then they'll know what kind of shoe to put you in, what the shape of this bottom of the shoe would look like, what the rear foot support would look like, and then what kind of dynamics they have on the inside of the shoe. I'm not going to get into the complete technical terms. I definitely like a foot orthotic. I wear them inside of my running shoes, and I wear them inside of my everyday dress shoes or casual shoe to support my foot and ankle with every strike. As a matter of fact, I know when my feet start aching or I start having foot problems, and I'm 60 years old, so I've got some mileage on them, I know that one of two things: I either need to get a new orthotic if I've had it for several years and need to adjust, or if I've gained weight or something like that, or my shoes wearing out. More typically for me, about every 6 months, I change out my shoes, because I know when the rear foot, this one's okay, the rear foot starts breaking down, or my shoe just starts getting worn out and a little floppy on me, and I lose the normal support, even with an orthotic in my shoe. I can tell these things, particularly in my everyday dress shoes, because I wear them more than my running shoes or my workout shoes. I don't wear them out as fast. So the shoes that you wear every day, you need to check to make sure that you have good rear foot support, good arch support, and that you're not breaking down across the base of the toes either, that you're absorbing the shock. Controlling the motion is the most important thing. That's where physical therapists come in. They can help evaluate, hey, what's your foot type? Is your shoe wear, because shoe wear does tell you a lot. If you've got a shoe that's breaking down on the outside heel, if you're a heavy heel striker and you're breaking down here, or you see a lot of wear on the inside right here, and you're excessively rolling to the inside and pushing more off the inside of your foot, that can definitely cause problems with the foot and ankle. We know these things. If you need help with this, we're happy to help you out and help guide you in the proper footwear to protect your shoe with every foot strike. So we look forward to helping you. Give us a call, and you can definitely prevent a lot of foot and ankle pain by good shoe wear and understanding what type of foot you have.